Hi, it's Marco here from Gourmet Hog Roasting with Fire. I'm with Fernando from Oakburn 13, and we've put together this Argentinian box which is suitable for Valentine's Day. It has some of the best bits of the last two that we've done. So the empanadas, the ribeye, but there's a new dessert that's very suitable for Valentine's Day, and we hope you enjoy it. Cheers.
Cheers. Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's.
Okay guys, now I'm going to show you how to regenerate the food that you received today. Basically, the empanadas is a classic street food from Argentina. It came to Argentina brought by Spanish immigrants, and we can fill them with many different ingredients. In this case, we are going to have the humita, which is quite Argentinian rooty because it has sweet corn, which is something that grows a lot, the corn in Argentina. Argentina is a very big farming area, we could say. And then we're gonna have some caprese, which is like we could say a tribute to the Italian immigration, because obviously inside we're gonna have mozzarella, tomato and basil. So we're gonna heat up our oven in 180 degrees. We're gonna put the empanadas in a tray. I recommend to put grease-proof paper underneath, and then we're gonna warm them up for around, let's say, 5-6 minutes until they are hot inside. Okay, coming back in 1 second. Okay, our empanadas have been warmed up already in the oven, so I recommend you to eat them with your hands. Wait until they cool down a little bit, because otherwise you're gonna get burned. Basic stuff. So this is the caprese. Okay, as you can see, it's gonna be very cheesy, beautiful, sexy empanada. I'm gonna leave it in there because I'm burning my fingers now. Okay. And this is gonna be the sweet corn one that has a lot of bechamel, it has a bit of chili, it has the corn. Okay, really nice empanadas. Well, I have cooked it with some butter, some red onions, and I think it's really nice way of a nice introduction to Argentinian street food. Okay, another thing is you have a tomato dip next to it, so I recommend you either you dip it in there, or, which is gonna be a bit more complicated, or you just grab with a little spoon some tomato dip and you top your empanada and you have a bite. Okay, hope you enjoy. Okay guys, now we are gonna cook the steak. Okay, so you have received 2 ribeyes from Argentina, grass-fed, as I explained you before. Basically, I recommend you to cook them if you have an outside grill with charcoal or wood. I would recommend you to do that, but most likely you're gonna be cooking it in your kitchen, winter time, maybe it might be raining outside. So this is how we're gonna do it now. We're gonna cook it in a pan in our kitchen. I have already set the fire on. I'm gonna heat up my pan properly. So we don't want to add any oil or fat or anything in advance, otherwise that's gonna get burned. So, but I want my pan to start smoking in a dry way, and that's gonna give me the idea that the pan is hot enough. Okay, I don't know if this is the second time you're ordering from us or the first time. In our first video I used a little bit of olive oil. Today I'm not going to use any olive oil because I have a little bit of fat with me. So I'm going to use that to make my pan a bit oily. Okay, fat is flavor. Okay, so don't be scared about a bit of fat in your steak, because the more amount of fat you have, the more amount of flavor you're going to receive in that steak. Okay, so you can see it's quite smoky. This went out, but sometimes it happens. I'm gonna put my fresh on. Now yes. Okay. So I have a bit of a fatty pan now, and I'm gonna put my steaks inside. Okay. Some people like to cook with butter. As I said, some people like to cook with olive oil. I believe if the steak has fat enough, or if you have a bit of fat on the side, you can just cook the steak straight away with the inner amount of fat. Okay, so I'm gonna season it. The salt I'm gonna use is a mix of rock salt and table salt. You know, you don't need to use Maldon. You can use it if you want, but it's a bit expensive and it's unnecessary to put it before the cooking process. I would use it to finish the dish mainly. Okay, so I'm gonna season the steak. I'm gonna make sure this is hot enough. So basically when you cook the steak, you want to check the right cooking temperature with the right color outside of the steak. You don't want it to be burned, otherwise it's gonna taste bitter. And you don't want it to be too pale because it's gonna taste like it has been boiled. In the meantime, what I'm gonna do, we have already the oven preheated because we have warmed up the empanadas before. So I'm gonna put my onions mix inside of the oven, okay? And I'm gonna warm up my puree as well. If you see that the puree is a bit dry, shouldn't be dry, but if you want, you can add a little bit of water, which later on is going to evaporate, but it's going to help you to warm up the mash. Okay, the steak is full of water. That water, when the steak starts to getting cooked, it starts to warm up, that water, those juices are going to start coming to the surface. That's going to give us the idea that the steak is getting cooked. So when we have the first juices coming to the surface, and then we flip the steak, that steak is going to be between rare and medium rare. I don't want to overcook my steak. I like my ribeye between medium rare and medium. So I'm going to wait for some signs from the steak to know when I need to flip that steak. Okay? In the meantime, look, if you look at, it's been pretty quick here now. It's been like 2-3 minutes. You look in there, you already start having some juices slightly coming to the surface. The more I leave it in the pan, the more those juices are going to come out. Okay, I'm going to check from underneath. This is a nice color, but I can still leave it like 2 more minutes before it gets burned. Okay? Obviously, if you want your steak medium well or well done, you reduce a little bit the heat. You allow those juices to come a bit more to the surface, but without letting the steak to get burned. Okay? In the meantime, I'm going to explain you something very important that we are going to be serving with your steak, which is going to be the chimichurri. Chimichurri, classic, the most classic Argentinian sauce, we could say. It's a raw sauce mix of herbs and spices. In this case, we have garlic, parsley, oregano, a bit of ají molido, which is an Argentinian chili flake, which is not a killer one. It's not going to destroy your senses. The wine is going to remain wine, and it's not going to become a fire spot. So it's quite mild, but it's quite smoky, really nice, goes really nice. And then we have some vinegar, which is going to give some acidity that is going to help to break through all the richness of the steak, and obviously salt, pepper, and olive oil. Okay, so let's check out the steak again. We have more juices here coming to the surface. Here as well, you can see them more properly. We're going to look at the color, sexy, golden brown. This color means that the proteins of the steak are getting caramelized. Okay, so we are going to make a nice crust. You can see my mash is getting hot as well. In this case, what I've done is we have a little bit of potato, not a lot. We have some cauliflower. I have cooked the cauliflower with a bit of milk, a bit of butter, a little bit of cream. Okay, so I have cooked it for a long time, and then I can mix it with a bit of potato. I've done the mash. Okay, and then I added in the end some provolone, which is this sexy Italian cheese that all together is going to give us a really nice runny mash. Okay, my steaks, I think they are going to be ready in around 2 minutes, and then we are going to leave them to rest for a little bit. I'm going to check my vegetables. Okay guys, so we have flipped the steaks around 2-3 minutes ago. We usually cook the steak a bit further in time from the first side than from the second side. Why? Because by the time we flip it, the steak is already warm inside. So from the second stage of the cooking process, it's going to take less time for the heat to go through. So if you look at it, you will see that we have juices coming out. Don't ever spike your steak. Just do like this slowly. Okay, and you see all my runny juices coming out of the steak. They are quite red, bright red. That means that my steak is going to be, at the moment, between medium rare, almost medium, but a bit less, like medium rare we could say. Okay, we are going to let those steaks to rest a little bit. If you have a rack, it's better. I don't have a rack, otherwise you can just leave them on a plate or on a board. I'm going to put them in this bowl now. And I'm going to leave them to rest for about 3-4 minutes, and they're going to be ready to go, to slice them. You can see my puree as well. Okay. It's quite runny, nice. We don't want it dry at all. Okay, and actually I'm pretty sure my vegetables are going to be ready as well. So I see you in 2 minutes, and we're going to be plating our dish. Okay, so we have roasted our steaks already. You will see a lot of juices in the surface. Many people, I'm gonna give you some education tips, okay? Many people think that this is blood. This is actually not blood. This is the natural juices coming out of the steak. So don't be scared of them. Actually, they are full of flavor. So they are some of the nicest things that you're gonna get from the steaks. So we're gonna slice these steaks, and we're gonna start plating them. Okay. You can see nice pink inside, the way we want them. Many restaurants you're gonna go and they're gonna change the plate and they're gonna change the board. I don't want to do that because the way I like it, I want all those juices to remain in my plate. Now, as a matter of presentation, I'm gonna plate it in a different board, but I think those juices are gonna go really, really well with a piece of bread and chimichurri, as we're gonna do later on. So we have our steak in here. Okay, have some of the vegetables that I've taken out before from the oven. Okay, so we have some red onion, have some white onion, some shallots, some chili, some leek. Okay, very wintry dish. Okay, and also we have some mash. Okay, I'm not gonna plate it too fancy, just a little bit like that. Okay, some mash, and of course I'm gonna finish it with some chimichurri, a bit on the side. Okay, and we have the tomato salad in here. I'm not gonna add it to the plate, doesn't fit actually. I'm gonna season it, as I said before, balsamic vinegar, olive oil, and English mustard. And last but not least, some bread. Okay, so here we have our dish. I think it's phenomenal. And actually, what I was telling you before, look, for example, the mix of chimichurri and these juices. Hallelujah. Merry Valentine's. Happy Valentine's. Enjoy. Okay guys, if we got into this stage, you should be a bit tipsy already, because we didn't mention it before, but you got a bottle of Malbec, cheers, and also you got a bottle of Prosecco. I don't know if you're gonna have it as a starter, you're gonna have it as dessert, or you're gonna keep it for later on. Anyway, it's your choice. What we are gonna do now is we're gonna present the dessert. Basically, we have some strawberries that we have infused them with champagne and basil syrup. Okay, and we have a vanilla cream. Very simple, but I think it goes really well in this time of the year, in a Valentine's Day. Okay, the plating way, you can do whatever you want. Even before, how I plate the steak or all those things, you can do whatever you want. It's your house, your experience, and be free. That's the most important thing. Okay, so I'm gonna put some double cream in here. Well, the chantilly cream more than double cream. Okay, and then we're gonna put my strawberries on top. These ones, you're gonna receive them separated because we don't want them to become too runny. Okay, so you will have to plate this in your own house. You can see the basil chiffonade in there. Okay, so this is very fresh, quite sweet. Okay, it's gonna open your heart, but I'm pretty sure it's open already today in Valentine's Day. So hope you enjoyed everything. Cheers and happy Valentine's.